That's the same team the Wildcats defeated here, 88-49 Saturday night. So Tennessee, in winning tonight, has upped its conference record to 4-5, and for the Rebels, it's now 1-8. They're hanging in the cellar with Georgia at the moment. Here's Kentucky coming back on the floor, but we got a few minutes left, so we'd like to talk with a gentleman who's got more pressure on him right now than almost anybody. It's Bill Harrell, who is blessed with some very fine basketball players and has mixed in a lot of mighty good coaching, and he's come up with a high school team just a few miles from Lexington here at Berea that the folks in this section of the state are saying looks like the state champion. Bill, you came into the state tournament last year and lost in the opening round to Mayfield, and I know you're looking to be back this year. Do you think it will be a rocky road again?
Well, we'd sure like to get back over here and have another crack at it. We don't know whether we will or not, but we'd love to try.
Well, Bill, you've certainly taken your ball club around the state. You've been able to play teams from all reaches of the Commonwealth. Do you feel that there is more strength in the state high school basketball circles this year than last?
Well, I believe there is. Central City's come up with another good team, as has Henderson City, and of course Car Creek is a good ball club, and then Flagey and Manual aren't too bad up in the Louisville area, and then we have two good ones here in Lafayette and Henry Clay.
I can see quickly that you're not going to look at the state right now. You got your mind on the district and region, haven't you?
Yes, sir, I sure have. That's the only one we're worrying about. It's the one we play first in the district tournament.
Bill, your district comprises just your county, doesn't it, Madison?
We have Estill County
That's right.
Estill County and Irvin, and then of course Berea Foundation and Berea High, and then Madison High and Madison Central.
Do you believe Estill County to be as strong as they were last year?
No, they aren't as strong as they were last year. I think possibly Madison Central has a very good ball club this year. Buddy Roberts has done an awful good job over there in his first year, and I think they possibly have very good ball club, but I think they'll probably come out of there and come into the regional tournament in the lower bracket.
Well, Bill, thank you very, very much for stopping by here with us these few minutes at halftime, and it's been interesting to get you to talk about this because it's a very short while before you start tournament play, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and you can't win them but one at a time.
Bill, thank you very, very much. Bill Harrell, the basketball coach of Berea, who I'm sure every high school basketball fan in the state has heard about. We have just had a halftime score from Cincinnati, and stand by. This one is, well, it looks bad right now. Xavier, 41, Louisville, 27 at halftime. Xavier leading Louisville by 14 points at halftime. Well, maybe the Cardinals will be able to pull her out of the fire. Southeastern Conference score finds Tennessee beating Mississippi 65-63. Here are your shooting percentages on the first half of this ball game. Kentucky 46, Mississippi State 30. That's the score. Shooting percentage, Kentucky 37-7. The Wildcats have 20 field goals on 53 shots. Mississippi State's hitting 20.6, 34 shots and 7 field goals. Mississippi State's doing pretty well on that free throw line, however. The Maroons tonight have hit 16 free throws. Let's check to make sure we're right on that. 16 free throws, and they have missed 6. So it's 16 out of 22 for Mississippi State. Kentucky, meanwhile, has hit 6 out of 9. They just have not had the free throws, as the Maroons have committed only 5 personals and a technical. Wayne Lemon committed 2 personals and a technical. Ashmore, Bailey, and Etheridge have each committed. Well, we've got another score from the game up at Cincinnati. Louisville is now 20 points off the pace. They're 10 minutes in the ball game. Xavier leading U of L 69-49. 10 minutes to go in the ball game, and Xavier is 20 points in front of Louisville. Well, the University of Louisville has apparently run into a buzzsaw, and Xavier, of course, one of the very fine teams in the nation, one of the extremely strong teams to be unrated. Getting ready to go with the second half of this ball club, which finds Kentucky out after its 16th win of the season. Its 9th in 10 conference games. Checking back in, Wayne Lemon at center for Mississippi State. Dudley Nash is remaining in at a forward along with Wayne Duncan. Jim Ashmore to guard along with Shelley Bailey. For Kentucky, Bob Burrows back at center. Vernon Hatton and Jerry Calvert at the guards. Phil Grawemeyer, Jerry Bird at forwards. Well, Coach Adolph Rupp shoots a lot for the tap. He lost the opening tap. Second half tap goes to Mississippi State also. As it goes to Ashmore, onto the basket. The scorer's horn blew, and the time has not started. So let's see what has happened. Lining up the centers on the Mississippi State free throw line. Apparently, the second half, now we're going to start the second half on the Mississippi State free throw line, and the tap is back to Shelley Bailey. Mississippi State's controlled all these opening taps. A hook, short by Nash, tapped in by Ashmore for his 9th point of the game. It is 46-32 as Kentucky's lead is cut back to 14 points. Calvert in front court down the left side to Bird, gives under there to Hatton, wide open. He hooked it over Ashmore and into the basket. Leading scorer in the game is Vernon Hatton as Kentucky takes off to a 48-32 lead as the teams match early field goals here in the opening 20 seconds of play. Playing it on the pivot now is Dudley Nash, gives to Ashmore, gets in there wide open and hooks it in. That's 2 quick field goals by Ashmore now in this half. Calvert bounces one in to Vernon Hatton. They talk it over, moving up the back court with a 14-point lead. Hatton past the dividing line, down the right to Grawemeyer, back to Hatton. Calvert goes through, the ball knocked down, picked up by Ashmore, Mississippi State. Fed over to Shelley Bailey, behind his back, picked up by Ashmore, lays it in. Ashmore has picked up the same number of field goals here in 50 seconds that he picked up in the entire first half. And it's 48-36, Mississippi State right back in the ball game. Here's Vernon Hatton breaking down the right side under the basket, out to Bird, a 10-foot jump shot's good. Jerry Bird gives Kentucky an advantage of 50-36. Ashmore moving back in front court for Mississippi State now, into a low crouch with Hatton on him. Whips one to the pivot to Nash, breaks by, and charging has been called. Blocking against Jerry Calvert. 3rd foul on Calvert. Ashmore is on the Mississippi State free throw line for one shot. 18 minutes, 39 seconds in the ball game. Kentucky's in front by 14 points. They had a 16-point halftime lead. Ashmore, right-hander, shoots and hits. Ashmore will take a bonus try now. Yes, Shelley Bailey back within 5 feet of the dividing line on the safety. Hatton and Calvert are wide of the alleys. Burrow in the right-handed rebounding position as the ball goes through the ropes. It's 50-38. Mississippi State back once again to within 12 points. That was the lead which Kentucky held on about 6 occasions in the first half. Here's Bird getting it on the left side of the double pivot, gives to Grawemeyer. Back to Bird, 20-foot jump shot, no good, it's short. Bird goes in, gets the rebound, lays it up short again. Rebound taken off by Dudley Nash of Mississippi State. Up the way to Ashmore, who moves in front court. Ashmore straight away. Bounces on the left side of a double pivot to Lemon, who breaks for the basket, lays it up and in. Lemon gets his 2nd field goal of the game. Mississippi State has suddenly come to tremendous life here in the second half. 7,000 fans, the official estimate tonight, began hoping it up for the Wildcats to get going. Their lead's only 10 points. Bird gets it on the right side of the pivot, waves it around on the floor, and it's out of bounds. In front of the Mississippi State bench to Kentucky. Vernon Hatton will put it in play. Passes up the right side to Grawemeyer, out front to Bird, over to Calvert. Top rim of the circle. He's angling to the right now. Feeds a pass to Grawemeyer. Knocked down. Grawemeyer picks it up out to Hatton. Hatton moves down the right side to the corner. Foul has been called on Mississippi State's Wayne Duncan. His first personal foul of the game. 17 minutes and 32 seconds to play. Vernon Hatton goes to the Kentucky free throw line. Kentucky 50, Mississippi State 40. Here's Hatton, the right-hander, shooting, hitting. Hatton has hit 4 for 4 at the free throw line in the first half, and this is the first time he's had a bonus shot. The others have been either a 2-shot foul or 1 shot and the field goal good. It's 52-40 as Hatton drops in the bonus shot. Shelley Bailey moves back in front court for Mississippi State. High pass goes to the double pivot. Bob Burrow knocks down an intended pass coming out of that pivot to Etheridge, and it's taken up by Calvert in front court. He spins and flips over to Bird on the right side. Bird, a one-bounce dribble in the pivot to Burrow. Almost tied up. Turns around with a jump shot that's no good. Tapped out. Calvert gets it. Jump shot in and out. Fighting for the ball. Grawemeyer has it at the baseline. Looking for a way out. Can't find it, and he's fouled from the rear. Again, drawing the personal is Wayne Duncan. 2nd foul on Duncan as they had Grawemeyer hemmed in at the baseline. He was unable to get out, and they fouled him in trying to keep him down there. Grawemeyer is shooting 1. It's good. Timeout, Mississippi State. before Grawemeyer takes the bonus shot. Well, here are some late scores for you. West Virginia has defeated William and Mary by 15 points tonight. West Virginia 105, William and Mary 90. In the South tonight, Alabama State 92, Florida Southern 74. In the Southeastern Conference, Tennessee beat Ole Miss 65-63. And with the last report we had, less than 10 minutes to go, Xavier 69, Louisville 49. 20-point Xavier lead inside the last 10 minutes of play. 53-40, Kentucky leads Mississippi State. And as we go back to play, Phil Grawemeyer on the Kentucky free throw line with a bonus shot coming. No change in either lineup. Grawemeyer has the ball. Feet about a foot apart. Two-handed free throw is over and in. And it is 54-40. Mississippi State has outscored Kentucky by 2 points here in the first 3 minutes of the second half. Ashmore in front court over to Bailey. Feeds in and breaking for the basket. Nash hooks off of the rim, no good. Hatton rebounds for Kentucky. The Wildcats running with it. Hatton pulls up at the top rim of the circle, has the ball taken away by Lemon, who slipped in behind him. Hatton did not get any warning that somebody was coming from the rear, and Lemon knocked the ball down. Ashmore has it in front court for Mississippi State. Tom-tomming the ball, out deep, over to Bailey. High pass goes into Lemon, a 15-foot jump shot, good. 54-42 as Kentucky has another 12-point lead. Mississippi State fell behind 14-2, and since then, they've scored right on equal terms. Here's Calvert on the right side of the front court. Bounce pass into Burrow, knocked away by Lemon, out of bounds. Kentucky keeps possession on the right side of the offensive court. That's the eastern side. Calvert feeds out front to Vernon Hatton. Moving to the left, parallel to the dividing line. Back to Calvert, over to Grawemeyer. Back to Calvert. Hatton goes through, pass to Bird. Drops it, picks it up. And the ball rolled on the floor. Burrow gets it, but he can't get it out of there quickly enough. A jump has been called. Bob Burrow will jump with Lemon. Burrow at 6'7", has 2 inches height advantage on the Kentucky free throw line. Here's the tap over the head of Grawemeyer. He saves right to Bailey, who dropped it on the out-of-bounds line. And Kentucky gets it on the left side of the front court. Passes from Calvert into Hatton, moving to his right. Pulling up to set his court up now with a 12-point lead. Down the left to Bird, in the pivot to Burrow, knocked down. Hatton picks it up, and whistle from the baseline. A foul has been called against Mississippi State's Wayne Lemon, his third personal foul. Vernon Hatton goes up to the Kentucky free throw line. Hatton tries one with 15 minutes, 39 seconds to play. Hatton sights, and here's his try. It's good. Hatton tries a bonus shot. 13-point Kentucky lead as the bonus shot is no good. Burrow taps no good. Bird rebounds and shoots no good. Grawemeyer taps no good. Bird rebounds and shoots good. Jerry Bird getting the rebound. By the way, that missed free throw by Hatton was the first one he'd missed in 8 tries. 57-42 Kentucky as they get a 3-point trip. Here's Ashmore on the left side. 20-foot jump shot blocked by Hatton, who gets it away from him, and Ashmore fouled him, trying to get it back. Second foul on Ashmore. And with 15 minutes, 18 seconds to play, Hatton goes back to the Kentucky free throw line. He has 21 points for Kentucky. That's only 4 shy of his best night this season in Montgomery a week ago Saturday when he got 25. Hatton up now for 1 shot. He shoots it good. It's interesting to watch Hatton as he shoots a free throw. The instant he sees that ball's ready, he just puts both hands on his hips and rocks back. Bonus shot, good. Hatton gets them both, and Kentucky leads 59-42. Hatton has hit 3 straight free throws, and a shot by Bird has picked up 5 quick points on 2 trips down the floor. Here's the pass on the pivot to Lemon. Breaks. Bird cuts him off, and he takes a jump shot. Good. Lemon and Ashmore each have 3 field goals in this half, and with 5 minutes gone, it's Kentucky 59, Mississippi State 44. 15-point Kentucky lead. Pass goes in the pivot to Burrow. He drops it, and Lemon picks it up for Mississippi State. Over to Ashmore, and the Maroons very deliberate in this half. Up to Shelley Bailey, who crosses the dividing line with Calvert retreating on him. Passes off the right side to Duncan, who breaks for the basket. Grawemeyer cuts him off. He shoots short. Nash taps up no good. Rebounds, hooks. He missed it. Tapped up no good. And Hatton rebounds for Kentucky. He is fouled by Mississippi State's Dudley Nash. First foul on Nash. 14 minutes and 33 seconds to play. So Hatton is up to the line now for one shot. 15-point Kentucky lead. Hatton's free throw, no good. Burrow taps, no good. Lemon rebounds for Mississippi State and fights his way out of there with it. Over to Shelley Bailey, who moves in front court. Passing over to Ashmore, setting it up. Single pivot. Moving to the right, Bailey feeds to Duncan. Moving to the left on Hatton. Shoots, the shot short. Bob Burrow rebounds. 3 men go for him, and a foul goes against Mississippi State's Wayne Duncan. So Duncan and Lemon now each have 3 fouls, and as we march the length of the court for another free throw, let's take 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Standard Oil Sports Network.
WVLK, Lexington, Kentucky. The time is 2 minutes past 9 o'clock.
Bob Burrow on the Kentucky free throw line for the first time. Shoots and hits. Bonus shot coming as into the Mississippi State lineup, Billy Etheridge, who started at forward. And going out, Dudley Nash. Burrow has a bonus shot as Kentucky has just moved into 16 points. It's halftime advantage after 5 minutes and 47 seconds of play in the second half. Burrow's bonus shot, no good. Tapped by Bird, no good. And the ball is out of bounds into the press table to Kentucky, opposite Wayne Duncan, the co-captain of Mississippi State. Calvert on the left side of the offensive court passes one out high to Vernon Hatton. He moves to his right, fakes to the pivot, pulls up. Burrow playing just out of the 3-second zone to the left. Pass goes to Gromar, back to Hatton, moving to the left. Looking for Burrow. They can't get it to him. They're playing 2 men on Burrow, 1 back, 1 out in front. Gromar with a 25-footer, short. Bob Burrow taps it in. Kentucky leads 62-44, an 18-point advantage, which means they've outscored Mississippi State now by 2 points in this half. Pass goes into Lemon on the Mississippi State pivot. Handed out. Here's Ashmore breaking by. Hatton slammed into him and fouled him. The goal is good, and it counts. The foul is number 3 on Vernon Hatton. Shelley Bailey comes out of the Mississippi State lineup, and Jerry Ritchie, who started at guard, is back in. Ashmore on the Mississippi State free throw line, shooting 1 with 13 minutes, 32 seconds to play. Ashmore stops at the free throw line and makes sure the scorer understands that goal of his counted. Now here he goes with his free throw. Good. And Ashmore picks up 3 points to make it 62-47 for the Wildcats. Here's Jerry Calvert back in front court for Kentucky. Down the right side to Gromar, out to Vernon Hatton. Fakes, gets by Ashmore. He's picked up in the pivot, knocks the ball down, lays it in. Vernon Hatton fighting his way through to get the field goal. Now Hatton has 25 points for the game. 1 more point for him, and it will be his best scoring night of the season. Ed Beck's already had his best scoring night of the season. Here's Lemon off the left side to Ritchie. Hatton turns him at the baseline. He drops the ball and saves at the baseline out to Wayne Duncan, who jumped to shoot, and Gromar knocked it over his head, out about within 5 feet of the dividing line. Gromar knocks it down again. Calvert picks it up, feeds to Gromar. Down the middle to Calvert, who lays it in, driving. Beautiful play by Gromar and Calvert. Kentucky 66, Mississippi State 47. Ashmore slowing it down. Moving up the backcourt is John Hyden. Waits to get back into the maroon lineup. Ashmore over to Ritchie, who fakes to the pivot. Gives off the right side to Duncan. Into Lemon. Burrow drives him to the baseline, and Gromar knocks it away from him out of bounds. To the right of the maroon basket, midway between the boards and the corner. Wayne Lemon's out to put it in play. High pass knocked away by Calvert from Ritchie. He's running with Ashmore. Got it over to Gromar. Back to Calvert. Laid it up. Missed it. Gromar taps it in. "12 minutes to go. As Gromar and Calvert work 2 of them to pick up 4 points. Listen to this hand. Well, we've seen some very fine defensive, offensive play by those 2 guys. 6'8" Phil Gromar and 5'11" Jerry Calvert, stealing and breaking with it. And Kentucky has eased out in front by 21 points, 68-47 after the Maroons made a run within 12 points of them. Well, Mr. Hukel, the official statistician for the university here, has just pointed out that Vernon Hatton has hit 8 for 8. He's had Hatton has 8 field goals, and he's taken 8 shots, 6 in the first half and 2 in this half. And on the free throw line, he's hit 8 out of 10. So he has 25 points right now. Wayne Duncan has come out of the Mississippi State lineup to make way for John Hyden. Well, we've had another report from Cincinnati on the Louisville game. And by golly, this is unbelievable. Xavier is now in front of Louisville by 30 points. Xavier 88, Louisville 58. That's the report from Cincinnati with 5 minutes to go. Now we're back to this ball game with 12 minutes to go. Passes to Wayne Lemon on the maroon pivot. Back to Jerry Ritchie, angling to the left toward the corner. Hatton slaps one down and out of bounds. It goes out to Mississippi State on the left side of their offensive court. Ashmore will put it in play. Bounce pass out deep to Ritchie, moving to his right. Pulls the ball up over his head and feeds Lemon to the right of the pivot. Back to Ritchie. Quick jump shot's good. First field goal for Ritchie in the game, 68-49. The Wildcats have a 19-point lead. Vernon Hatton back in front court now. Comes to the top rim of the circle. Feeds Burrow. Breaks for the basket. 2 men go for him. He whips it outside to Hatton, who goes down the middle of 15-foot shots. The first one he's missed in the game. Gromar picked it up, dribbled it off his toe. Wayne Ritchie gets it for Mississippi State. Falling, he keeps right on dribbling. Gives to Ashmore, goes down the middle, and Gromar kicked it out of bounds. Bill Cassidy waits to get into the Kentucky lineup. Here's Ashmore into Ritchie, top rim of the circle, breaking to the right with Calvert on him. He can't get a shot out of there. Gives to Hyden. Out front to Ashmore, who breaks to the left, gets a screen. Burrow switches and cuts off the shot. Pass now goes out front to Etheridge, over to Ritchie. Jump shot good. Once again, pouring in from the outside by Ritchie. Kentucky 68, Mississippi State 51. Hatton moves back in front court for Kentucky. Pass goes high on the pivot to Bob Burrow. Spins right. Takes a hook shot over Lemon. That's good. Bob Burrow has had a lot of fighting to do in that pivot tonight as Etheridge and Lemon have really made him work for his position. Kentucky's on top, 70-51. 10.5 minutes to play. Waiting to get in for Mississippi State is Lloyd Johnson, who hasn't seen action. Here's Bob Burrow cutting one off in the pivot. Wayne Lemon drives him to the floor and ties him up. Burrow had the ball. Calvert had him backed out so he couldn't get away. Hatton comes out of the game, and Bill Cassidy's in to replace him. Big hand for Vernon Hatton, who's led Kentucky in scoring tonight. Burrow at 6'7" has 2 inches advantage, but he's out-jumped as the tap goes over, and a jump shot is quickly good by Billy Etheridge. That's the first point he scored in the game. 70-53 is the count. Calvert moves up past the dividing line now. Running at guard with Cassidy, feeds Burrow on the pivot. Burrow can't shoot. Now breaks, drops the ball, picks it up, and is tied up. Burrow is tied up as he cut down into the 3-second zone, and he'll be jumping against John Hyden. Burrow at 6'7" has 4 inches height advantage. Now the game held up to let Lloyd Johnson get into the Mississippi State lineup and replace Wayne Lemon. Johnson, a 20-year-old junior, is from Selma, Alabama, stands 6'4", weighs 205. Burrow fails to get the tap once again as he goes over to Jerry Ritchie. Johnson has 88 points this season for Mississippi State, an average of 4.9 a game. Here's Ritchie in front court, driving to the right side, giving to Ashmore, who takes a jump shot that's no good. Gromar and Calvert knock it away from each other, and Ashmore picks it up and missed a wide-open shot. Gromar rebounds, knocked down again. Ashmore gets it for Mississippi State, gives out, and a jump shot no good by Etheridge. Tapped up by Johnson, no good. He rebounds, gives to Ashmore, moving into the left corner. Cassidy goes for him. Behind his back to Johnson, gives over to Etheridge. He dropped the ball. Now Burrow picks it up and out to Calvert. Boy, golly, there's some wild play. Here's down the left side to Bird, out to Burrow. He fakes, and a 15-foot jump shot's no good. Gromar taps, no good. And Bird almost tied up Hyden before he could get out of there with a rebound. Ray Mills waits to get into the Kentucky lineup now. Kentucky's in front by 17 points. They've been able to outscore Mississippi State by only 1 point in the second half. Here's Ashmore, 15-foot jump shot, no good. Jerry Bird rebounds. Moves out of there with it. Up in front court to Bob Burrow, breaking down the left side, over to Bird, who goes down the middle and throws it into the lap of Adolph Rupp. Rupp stands up with the ball. Flips it out to Ashmore, who moves up the backcourt for Mississippi State. Kentucky 70, Mississippi State 53. Ritchie in front court, gives a pass over to Hyden, out front to Ashmore. Ashmore with Calvert on him, feeds into Lloyd Johnson in the pivot, and the pass is out of bounds as Johnson threw it over the head of Calvert, away from Ashmore. And Kentucky takes over, still holding on to a 17-point advantage. Up in front court is Cassidy. High pass to Bob Burrow on the pivot, out to Calvert. Calvert fakes, drives in, jump shot over Burrow is to the right, no good. Hayden again rebounds for Mississippi State. Gives it over to Ashmore, who dropped it, turns around and picks it up right at the baseline. 8 minutes to go now as Ashmore walks past the dividing line. Whips one down the left side to Ritchie, who spins out of there. Cassidy won't leave him for a shot. Over to Etheridge, who breaks out. Gives to Hayden, hands behind him to Ashmore. Ashmore breaks to the right, gets open, 10-footer, good. Ashmore has been able to work himself open now for 5 field goals in this half, coming down this right side. It is 70-55 as Mississippi State has outscored Kentucky in the second half. Here's Cassidy breaking to the left, tries to hook one up that's no good, but a foul against Billy Etheridge of Mississippi State, his second personal foul. Ray Mills comes in to replace Jerry Bird. Mills is the oldest of the Wildcats at 22. He's a junior from Manchester, graduate of Clay County High School. Mills is 6'4", weighs 185, has 63 points this season, an average of 3.9 a game. His big night was against Temple when he scored 12 points. Cassidy on the Kentucky free throw line hits. Cassidy is the 8th Wildcat to score. Bonus shot is good, and Cassidy keeps the record intact, having not missed a free throw this season. 16 for 16. Mississippi State attacks now as Kentucky leads 72-55. Pass to Johnson in the pivot. Back to Ritchie. Fakes Burrow and lays it up short. Ray Mills dropped the rebound out of bounds. Mississippi State keeps possession. Lloyd Johnson out of bounds. Slams the ball. Calls his play. Outside pass goes to Hayden. Wide open. He missed the shot. Tapped up, no good. Ashmore shoots and hits. Ashmore now has 9 field goals as we go into the last 7 minutes of play. 72-57 is Kentucky's lead. Pass to Mills on the left side. Back out to Cassidy. Here's a 30-foot set shot. Good. Cassidy hits from the outside, and Kentucky leads 74-57. Ashmore back in front court for the Maroons. Over to Ritchie. Angling to the right and giving to Hayden, who moves out front with it. Pulls up. Hands behind him to Ashmore. Ashmore gives to Johnson in the pivot, who screens off for him, and Ashmore shoots and misses. Ray Mills rebounds. Gives up the way to Jerry Calvert, racing out of there. 3-2. Calvert all the way, lays it up, no good. Gromar taps, no good. Coming down, the ball is out of bounds. Goes to Kentucky under its own basket. Out of bounds will be Bob Burrow to put it in play. Calls his signals. Pass into Ray Mills, and a foul. Foul is called against John Hayden of Mississippi State. It's his first personal foul. Wayne Duncan now replaces Hayden in the Mississippi State lineup. Ray Mills on the Kentucky free throw line. Mills has a chance to become the 9th Wildcat to score. He does. Mills will take a bonus shot now after lifting Kentucky into a 75-57 lead. Here's Mills' bonus shot, good. Kentucky 76, Mississippi State 57. Incoming pass is to Jim Ashmore of Mississippi State. High pass into the pivot to Lloyd Johnson. Spins down, gets open, lays it in. Johnson of Mississippi State gets his first field goal to make it 76-59. Calvert back in front court for the Wildcats. Bounce pass down the right side to Gromar and back to Calvert. Cassidy goes through, outside pass to Mills. 20-foot jump shot is no good. Tapped in by Bob Burrow. 78-59, the Wildcats leading. Here's a score from the Big Ten. Iowa 88, Purdue 75. Iowa beats Purdue by 13 points tonight. Here's a jump shot by Ritchie. Good for Mississippi State. Iowa 88, Purdue 75. Johnny Brewer comes off the Kentucky bench as Cassidy moves back in front court for the Wildcats. Off the right side to Gromar, hooked into the pivot to Burrow. Spins out of there. 3 men go for him. He passes on the right side to Calvert. Calvert moves up the right side as we have 5 minutes to play. Back down the right side to Gromar, who moves out, gives to Cassidy. Here's a 30-foot set shot, no good. Bob Burrow taps, no good. Ray Mills rebounds, no good. Taking it off is Lloyd Johnson of Mississippi State, but he's tied up by Bob Burrow before he can get out of there with it. Coming out of the game is Jerry Calvert as Johnny Brewer comes back in at guard. Burrow at 6'7", has 3 inches advantage. Mississippi State again gets the tap, though, as Ashmore scoops it up on the left side. Over to Wayne Duncan and back to Ashmore as Wayne Lemon waits to get into the Mississippi State lineup. Kentucky holds a 17-point advantage. The Maroons have hung right with them here in the second half. Jump shot by Duncan, no good. Johnson rebounds. Burrow blocks the shot. Mills picks it up, comes out of there and into front court. Ritchie pulls him up and he gives over to Johnny Brewer. Moving to the top rim of the circle. On the left side to Grawemeyer and the pivot to Burrow. A hook shot, no good. Mills rebounds. The ball knocked away from him and out into the crowd. Mills touched it last and Mississippi State has it. 78-61 the score. Kentucky has outscored Mississippi State by just 1 point in the second half. Kentucky actually built its lead up in the early 4 or 5 minutes of play when they went on top 14-2, and the Maroons have held right with them since then. Here's Johnson getting it in the Mississippi State pivot. Throws it out to Ritchie on the left side. Breaks in. Cassidy knocks it down. Grawemeyer gets it, and then it's knocked away from him by Ritchie. Grawemeyer whips it quickly into Cassidy. And he's right back in front court, down the right side for the Wildcats, into the corner, down the baseline, tries to shoot, and is fouled, as he does, by Billy Etheridge. Third foul on Etheridge, and Ed Beck comes into the Kentucky lineup. Coming out of the game is Phil Grawemeyer. Wayne Lemon comes in for Mississippi State. Going out is Billy Etheridge. Bill Cassidy comes to the Kentucky free throw line for 2 shots. The southpaw fires the first one, good. Cassidy in for his second shot now as Kentucky holds an 18-point advantage. 3 minutes, 45 seconds to play. It's good. Well, the fans have sensed that Cassidy has not missed a free throw all season. He just hit his 18th straight, and as he does, you can see the boys along the bench grin as they look at one another. It's quite a mark of pride here that Cassidy's shooting for. Here he is taking the ball away from Lemon, knocking it on the floor, but it's picked up by Ashmore of the Maroons. Good evening, everybody. This is Claude Sullivan speaking from Memorial Coliseum on the campus of the University of Kentucky in Lexington. Tonight, basketball fans, the U of K Wildcats take on Mississippi State here at Lexington. So that you may follow the fortunes of the Wildcats on your radio, Standard Oil Company and Standard Oil dealers throughout Kentucky, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and Mississippi are bringing you this game and all of U of K's games at home and away over the Standard Oil Network. This is Kentucky's only conference game of the week. A win tonight would boost the Wildcats' conference record to 9 wins against that lone defeat to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is also playing at home tonight, meeting Tulane. So the Commodores could keep pace in the battle for second place. Kentucky and the Commodores are the only 2 teams right now within striking distance of Alabama. Alabama is also at home tonight, meeting the Gators from Florida down at Tuscaloosa. It's interesting that Mississippi State, Florida, and Tulane, the 3 teams going against the Big 3 tonight, have almost identical conference records. The Maroons and Green Wave have won 3, losing 5, and Florida has won 2, losing 5. One of the top 3 could overlook an opponent. That was proved last year when Florida slipped up on Alabama. Kentucky steps out of the loop Saturday to play DePaul at Chicago, the last intersectional opponent the Wildcats will face this season. Although no conference ranking is at stake Saturday in Chicago, the Wildcats could nonetheless lose tremendous national prestige. But next week is the crucial week of the conference race. Next Monday, the Wildcats meet Vanderbilt here at the Coliseum. And Saturday, the 25th, they play Alabama in Montgomery. The Crimson Tide needs that victory over Kentucky to wrap up the title, assuming, of course, that they can handle all the other teams to be met. Alabama has 7 conference games left to play, while Kentucky and Vanderbilt have only 5 left. But Kentucky is trying to take first things first, and certainly Mississippi State right now is just as important as either Vanderbilt or Alabama. So far this season, Mississippi State has won 9 and lost 9. In the conference, the Maroons have won 3 while losing 5. However, Mississippi State has come back from a dismal start. The Maroons dropped their first 4 SEC starts to Auburn by 13 points, Alabama by 12 points, Georgia Tech by 28 points, and Vanderbilt by 20 points. After that, they bounced back with victories over Ole Miss by 21 points, LSU by 9 points, and Tennessee by 17 points last Saturday. Tulane beat Mississippi State 38 points only last Monday. Outside the conference, the Maroons hold victories over Howard, Southwestern of Memphis, Davidson, Florida State. That's an overtime game, by the way. Arkansas State and Tampa. The Maroons have lost intersectional games to Arkansas State, Wake Forest, Sewanee, and Memphis State. Kentucky and Mississippi State first met on the basketball court back in 1933. And since then, the Wildcats have won 10 games, and the Maroons have never beaten Kentucky in basketball. Last season in Starkville, the Maroons almost beat the Wildcats. Kentucky had taken a 4-point lead at halftime, but down in the late stages of the game, the Maroons made the charge at the Wildcats and almost pulled it out of the fire. Kentucky had to come from behind to win 61-56. The big man that night was Jim Ashmore. Now he's back as a junior here tonight. It was interesting Saturday night to see Kentucky shut Mississippi off with only 49 points. Ole Miss was averaging better than 83 points a game when they arrived for the contest. Well, the week of defensive work seems to have paid off for the Baron. He commented Saturday night after the game that when he changed his offense to the double pivot, he had to neglect the defense. Now, however, it looks as though the Wildcats have responded to the defensive work, and it's been true down through the years that fine Kentucky basketball teams have relied on defense. Mississippi State right now is averaging better than 78 points a game, but like Kentucky, they've been relying to a great extent on defensive play. Well, now with tip-off time nearing, let's take time for the starting lineups. Kentucky's starting five has left the floor. The entire Maroon squad has left. Babe McCarthy, the Mississippi State coach, who is facing a Kentucky basketball team for the first time tonight, has said he might possibly make a late change in his starters, but it looks pretty definite that Mississippi State will line up Jerry Ritchie and Jim Ashmore at the guards. Ritchie, R-I-T-C-H-E-Y, is a 20-year-old senior from McLeansboro, Illinois. He's 5'11", weighs 170. Ritchie has scored 152 points so far this season to rank number 4 in scoring with an average of 8.9. The other guard is co-captain Jim Ashmore, A-S-H-M-O-R-E, from Forest, Mississippi. Ashmore is a 20-year-old junior who stands 6 feet, weighs 165 pounds. He was High Point Man of the Game last year in Starkville when he threw in 19 points. This season, he's averaging 22.2 a game. He has scored 399 points. Ashmore is one of the top scorers in the conference. In the pivot tonight for Mississippi State, we'll find Wayne Lemon, L-E-M-O-N. Lemon is the tallest of the Maroons at 6'5", weighs 205. He's a junior from Dice, Arkansas. He's 22 years old. Lemon has scored 166 points this season, and his average is 9.2 a game. The forwards for the Maroons will be Wayne Duncan and Billy Etheridge. Wayne Duncan is a co-captain along with Jim Ashmore. Duncan's a 21-year-old senior from Swayze, Indiana. He scored 9 points against the Wildcats last year. Duncan is 6'2", weighs 180 pounds. He scored 269 points this season. Duncan is averaging 15 points a game. The other forward is Billy Etheridge, E-T-H-R-I-D-G-E, 20-year-old junior from Martin, Mississippi. Etheridge is 6'2", weighs 175 pounds. Etheridge has scored 114 points this season, an average of 6.3 a game. Last year in Starkville, he scored 4 points against Kentucky. The Wildcats starting five is not yet back on the floor, although the Maroons have checked back in. Adolph Rupp will go with his same five, Jerry Calvert and Vernon Hatton at the guard positions. Calvert, a 20-year-old junior, hails from Maysville, stands 5'11", weighs 160 pounds. Calvert is number 3 in scoring, 233 points, an average of 12.9 a game. His big night was in Knoxville against Tennessee when he scored 24 points. Calvert this season, in the matter of playing time, is number 4, having played 561 minutes. And his point proficiency is rated at 144. In other words, Calvert has scored a point for every 144 seconds of playing time. The other guard is Vernon Hatton, a 20-year-old sophomore from Lexington. He's a graduate of Lafayette. Stands 6'3", weighs 180. Has scored 215 points to rank number 4 in that department. Hatton is averaging 11.9 a game. His big night was in Montgomery when he scored 25 points. Hatton, so far this season, is number 5, having played 534 minutes and 29 seconds, 1 complete game, and his proficiency is 149. That is 149 seconds to score each point. In the pivot tonight is Bob Burrow, who leads the Wildcats in almost every offensive department. He's a 21-year-old senior from Wells, Texas. He's the heaviest of the Wildcats at 220. Burrow stands 6'7", top scorer with 333 points. Best average, 19.6, although he's played in only 17 of the 18 games. His big night was here in the Coliseum against Louisiana State when he scored 50 points. Against Mississippi State last year, Burrow got 11 points. His proficiency, incidentally, is better than all other Wildcats, 102. In other words, he plays 102 seconds to score a point. He's played only 1 complete game this season, but 566 minutes and 33 seconds. Jerry Bird and Phil Grawemeyer will be at forwards for Kentucky. Bird leads in time played. He's played 5 complete games. The only one close to him is Calvert, who's played 3 complete ones. Bird has played 608 minutes and 50 seconds, way more than any of the other cats. He's a 22-year-old senior from Corbin. Stands 6'6", weighs 210. His point proficiency is 118. That, by the way, is a tie with Phil Johnson, a reserve. Bird had his best night here in the Coliseum against Dayton when he scored 34 points in the finals of the Invitational Tournament. He's second in scoring with 308, an average of 17.1 a game. Against Mississippi State last year, Bird scored 13. The other forward is the captain, Phil Grawemeyer from DuPont Manual in Louisville. Grawmeyer's the tallest of the cats at 6'8", weighs 180 pounds, and had 13 points last year against Mississippi State. His big night this year was in Gainesville a week ago tonight when he scored 14 points against the Gators. Grawmeyer's number 5 in scoring with 161 points, an average of 8.9 per game. Grawemeyer, in the proficiency department, has played 1 complete game, 532 minutes, 7 seconds. His point proficiency, 198. And that's the way the 2 teams are expected to line up. Incidentally, we picked up some news here tonight along courtside concerning a sport that maybe you're like us. You're thinking a little bit ahead to it in those warm days that come right along with it, and that's golf. One of the fine golf players in the state of Kentucky who recently turned professional is Junior Brewer from here in Lexington. Well, Brewer has been on the circuit and did pretty well out in California and through Arizona, where he is right now. We learned tonight that Brewer has made a formal application for membership in the PGA. Of course, that carries a 6-month probationary period, which has prevented him from winning any money so far this season. Brewer cannot accept money from any PGA tournament at any rate. But Brewer has now signed a contract. And Brewer signed a contract with Freeman Haywood. He's a Cincinnati pro, and reportedly will get $10,000 for 3 years of play. Brewer has picked up some prizes, but no money. But we thought maybe you golfers would like to know that Brewer has signed now a 3-year contract to play on that pro circuit. Well, here's Kentucky's starting 5 coming back on the floor, and the fans rise with a fight song coming up across the way from the University of Kentucky band. You know, it's only human to try to get the best mileage out of a set of tires, and this often leads motorists to use tires beyond their safety limit. The result is often a bad smash-up, which a little common sense could have prevented. Stop by your Standard Oil dealers and have him give your tires a thorough inspection, even if you don't need tire service or replacements. These regular tire inspections are important to safety. If you do need new tires, you can't get a better tire value than the Atlas Cushion Air tire. Atlas tires are famous for safety, long life, and economy. They give you long years of trouble-free service, more safe motoring miles than you ever expected. They're fully guaranteed by Standard Oil. Ask your Standard Oil dealer for a trade-in appraisal of your present tires on a new set of Atlas tires. At this moment, co-captains for Mississippi State, Jim Ashmore and Wayne Duncan, meet in the center of the court with Kentucky captain Phil Grawemeyer and tonight's officials, Max Macon and Rumi Wilson. The handshakes and the parting of the company in center floor. Mississippi State tonight in gray pants, maroon jerseys with gray numerals. And Kentucky in its standard home uniform, white, trimmed in blue. And Mississippi State, incidentally, has no lettering on the front or the back of the jersey. Just plain maroon jerseys, gray trunks, and gray numerals. Kentucky has its usual bench strength tonight. Lincoln Collinsworth, Abe Lincoln birthday, and that's the same with Lincoln Collinsworth, whose real name is Abraham Lincoln Collinsworth. He's 20 years old. He was yesterday. Harold Ross of Hickman's on the bench, along with Ed Beck of Fort Valley, Georgia, Phil Johnson of Lexington, John Krigler of Hebron, Bill Cassidy of Inez, Ray Mills of Clay County, Johnny Brewer of Eastern High School, native of Anchorage, and Bill Smith from Walton, Kentucky. Well, with tip-off time just a few seconds away, let us take 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Standard Oil Sports Network.
This is radio station WVLK, Lexington. In 55 seconds, the time 8 o'clock.
Here at the Coliseum in Lexington now, Kentucky and Mississippi State about to square off for another Southeastern Conference battle. And before the tip-off, the fans here at the Coliseum rise to be led in prayer by Mr. Don Clark, who is president of the University of Kentucky YMCA, and then after the prayer, our national anthem by the University of Kentucky Band. Now here is Mr. Don Clark.
Our Father, grant that we may check in ourselves and in others every temper which makes for war. Grant that we may approach every question of foreign policy with a desire to do justice, that we may endeavor to understand the needs, the feelings, the endowments, and the traditions of other countries, that we may use gladly and untiringly and patiently what lies in us to remove suspicions and understandings, and grant, Father, that we may honor all men. Amen.
Now the Maroons huddle up around their new coach, Babe McCarthy, who is in his first season, and the Wildcats around their coach, Adolph Rupp, who is in his 26th season here at the University of Kentucky. Rhythmic chant across the way to a crowd of perhaps 10,000 here in the Coliseum tonight. This, by the way, is the only game to be played in Lexington this week. The Wildcats are in Chicago Saturday night, second half of a double bill. We'll be with you for the broadcast at 9:30 Central Standard Time over these same stations. Here's Kentucky coming out. The Maroons are out, and tip-off time now just seconds away. Wayne Lemon, 6'5", stands in against Bob Burrow at 6'7". Kentucky will have 2 inches height advantage for the opening tap. Max Macon in now for the toss, gets the nod from the captains of each team, and the tip goes to Mississippi State. Calvert went out of bounds, trying to get a fine save away from Ashmore, couldn't do it. Picked up down in backcourt by Ritchie and up to Ashmore as the Maroons attack with it. Ritchie angling to the right, pumps a two-handed pass down in the right corner to Ritchie, to Ashmore rather. Hands in and one-hander back by Ashmore is no good. Tapped up on the boards, no good by Lemon. Coming off with it is Hatton up to Calvert as the Wildcats fast break. Bird on the left side takes a 5-footer. It's no good. The Maroons come off with it as it's pulled in by Wayne Lemon, the 6'5 center. Each team's had a good shot now. Neither team has scored after 35 seconds of play. The Maroons attack with Jim Ashmore in front court, working down the left side to Bill Etheridge. Here's Calvert knocking one down, intended for Ritchie. Goes on a break against Ritchie, lays it up, no good. Mississippi State has it back. Jerry Ritchie over to Ashmore, who moves in front court with Hatton on him. High pass goes to Lemon in the pivot. Hooked back out to Ritchie, cuts to the right. Feeds off on the side, and here's a jump shot by Duncan that's shortened to the right, scooped up by Hatton, knee-high on the bounce off the floor. Moves up in front court with it, takes a 15-foot pass under there to Bird, wide open, who lays it in. Beautiful pass by Vernon Hatton, who seemed to have overcommitted himself on a shot when he caught Hatton open, but nonetheless pumped it right in under the basket, and Bird laid it in for a 2-0 Kentucky lead. Here's Calvert cutting another one off out front as he got it away from Jim Ashmore. Picks it up at the dividing line and feeds Bob Burrow. Off the left side to Bird, a 10-footer, it's good. And Bird seems to be floating clear to the left of the basket. He's picked up 2 field goals for a 4-0 Kentucky lead. Ashmore back in front court as the Maroons call timeout to make this adjustment defensively. Well, we've seen Bird here in the early going have 3 fine shots. One a wide open crip, which he got, a 5-footer, which he missed, and a 10-footer, which he cashed in to give Kentucky a 4-0 lead. So we rather imagine that right now the Maroons are busily talking some defensive change that's going to have to be made in the lineup. Here at halftime tonight, the 1956 Kentuckian, in conjunction with the Lamp and Cross on the UK campus, will present the 26 candidates for the Kentuckian Queen contest. The Queen will be chosen in a contest Friday night and will be presented with her court at the annual Kentuckian Dance Saturday night at the Student Union Ballroom. As we go back to play Jim Ashmore, the Maroon co-captain stands out of bounds, gets it, and quick bounce pass into Jerry Ritchie as we go back to play. Ritchie picked up quickly out deep, feeds one down the right side to Duncan, and the pivot to Etheridge. Outside jump shot's good by Jim Ashmore. Ashmore strikes from the outside to make it a 4-2 ball game as Calvert comes quickly back in Kentucky's front court. Down the left side to Bird on the double pivot. He fakes, goes in, lays it up, no good. Burrow taps it in. That's the 4th straight good shot by Bird. It's 6-2 Kentucky. Jerry Ritchie in front court for the Maroons. Feeds one into the pivot. Here's Lemon breaking. Bird falls away, and it's walking. Lemon seemed to be expecting a little contact there, and Burrow quickly got away from him, and he dragged the pivot foot. Here's Hatton to Grawemeyer on the right side in front court. Back out to Calvert, who yells, set it up, and works right back to Grawemeyer. Back to Calvert, to Hatton going through. He lays it up, no good. A foul has been called against the Maroons' Billy Etheridge. First personal foul of the game. After 2 minutes and 23 seconds, Vernon Hatton of Kentucky goes up for 2 shots. Hatton, left foot on the line, pulls a 2-hander up in between the knees. That's good. He's the 3rd Wildcat to score as Kentucky takes a lead of 7-2. Burrow has the right-handed rebounding position as Hatton's 2nd shot's good. Kentucky goes into its longest lead of the game, 8-2. 5'11" Jerry Ritchie moves up back court for Mississippi State, angling to the right. Duncan fakes to go for the basket. Grawemeyer hangs right with him. Pass over to Ashmore. Breaks to the left of the 3-second zone. Pulls up, gets to Ritchie. A 25-footers to the left. Glances off of the rim and out of bounds to Kentucky. Herky Rupp, son of Coach Adolph Rupp, pulls it out of the braces behind the boards. Hands to Hatton, who throws it into Calvert. They talk it over, coming up past the dividing line. Off the right side to Grawemeyer, back to Hatton. He sets, breaks right. Ritchie takes him to the baseline, and Hatton backs away into the corner. Out to Calvert, who goes through the zone, lays it in, driving. Jerry Calvert right down the middle of the 3-second zone, puts Kentucky on top 10-2 after 3 minutes of play. Here's Ashmore in front court for the Maroons, driving out for a 25-footer that's no good. Glanced off of the rim and out of bounds. Grawemeyer hooks it quickly into Hatton. Up to Calvert, moving in front court. Down the left side to Burrow, who plays the weak side of the double pivot. Can't shoot, and out to Hatton. Right back to Burrow, who's triple team now. Can't get out of there for a shot and flips back to Hatton. Grawemeyer gets it under the basket, back to Burrow, a 10-footer. Good! Excellent teamwork as Grawemeyer went in behind the sinking zone. Hatton fed him a high one, and as it collapsed back toward the baseline, he fed it back into the zone against Burrow, who jumped and laid it in for a 12-2 lead. Here's Ashmore in front court, faking right, coming left. He spins around, fires one under the basket. Cuts to the right, Hatton goes all the way, and beautiful play. Timeout, Mississippi State. Their 2nd timeout of the game, and listen to this roar of approval. An excellent exhibition of basketball here in the early 3 minutes and 56 seconds of play. Kentucky has hung it out 14-2. 4 points for Bird, 4 points for Hatton, 4 for Bob Burrow. Jerry Calvert has 2. Cheer goes up from across the way as we have the second time out of the game charged to Mississippi State. Coming into the Mississippi State lineup is Shelley Bailey, a 19-year-old sophomore from Jackson, Mississippi. Bailey, 6'1", weighs 180 pounds. Bailey has 77 points this season, an average of 4.8 a game. He's replacing 5'11" Jerry Ritchie, which gives Mississippi State 2 inches more height. No change in the Kentucky lineup as the Maroons' Jim Ashmore strides over the baseline under the Kentucky basket, where Mississippi State has it. 41 and 42, Ashmore and Bailey look very much alike playing out front at guards now for the Maroons. High pass goes to Lemon, and on the pivot, playing a very high one. Off the right, here's Ashmore for a jump shot that's no good. Foul has been called on Vernon Hatton before he shot. That's the first foul against Kentucky after 4 minutes and 5 seconds of play. It was not against Ashmore, who took the shot. It was against Lemon, who Hatton, charging away, fell into. The free throw is good. Lemon will take a bonus shot as the count's 14-3 against Mississippi State. The bonus shot's good, and it's 14-4. Calvert back in front court for Kentucky now, letting Bob Burrow go in on the pivot. Feeds the left side to Bird, who falls away for a 10-footer that's short. The Mississippi State Maroons pick it up as Ashmore comes off with it. Up past the dividing line with it. Open out of Bailey. Down the right side to Wayne Duncan. Duncan passes one into the pivot to Lemon. It's knocked down by Burrow. Picked up by Bird. Fed back to Burrow over to Calvert on the left side. He hooks one out deep to Grawemeyer. 25-foot jump shot. In and out. Mississippi State gets the rebound. Ashmore plucks it off. Feeds to Bailey. Rifles a baseball pass up over the Kentucky bench. Back into the end zone crowd. Glancing at just off the palm of Harry Lancaster's upraised hand. Kentucky has it back. 10-point advantage. Calvert down the right side to Grawemeyer. Back to Calvert. Hatton goes through. Pass out to Burrow, who moves to the left. 15-foot jump shot. It's no good. Rolled off. And the Maroons had all the rebounding strength there that time. Taking it was Wayne Duncan, a 6'2" senior. Over to Bailey, who moves in front court. To Ashmore in the pivot to Lemon. Ashmore goes by. The pass is off his head, and Burrow picks it up. Over to Hatton, who's playing fine defensive ball against Ashmore now. Up in front court, Hatton breaks right, gives to Grawemeyer. Back out front to Calvert as Kentucky sets it up again with a 10-point lead. Calvert moves to the right, gives to Grawemeyer. Out, Hatton sets. Here's a 25-footer. It's good. Vernon Hatton hits a 25-foot one-hander just off the back top rim of the circle, and it's 16-4. Kentucky's second 12-point advantage. Here's Bailey feeding a high one to Lemon. Spins right. Burrow won't let up, though, and he gets back to Ashmore. Shoots. It's good. Jim Ashmore makes it 16-6. Hatton, dribbling up the backcourt, yells something to Calvert, then breaks into a trot coming past the white stripe. Pulls up 30 feet straight away, whips it over to Calvert. Hyman goes to Bird on the strong side of the pivot. He goes under the basket, lays it up short, and the Maroons once again had all the rebounding strength. Wayne Lemon, 6'5" center, pulled it off, gives to Ashmore up the way to Bailey. Sets it up for the Maroons. Ashmore goes through. Bailey feeds Lemon on the pivot now. He moves to the left. Has to fight to hold on to the ball. Gives out to Duncan, who misses a one-handed shot. Grawemeyer rebounds, feeds Calvert on a 4-2 fast break. Calvert goes to the left, loses the ball, and it's picked up by Bailey of Mississippi State. Passes it over to Wayne Duncan. Back to Bailey, striding in front court with the ball. Over to Ashmore with Calvert on him. He breaks to the right, drives for the basket, and shoots short. Whistle, and a foul on Calvert. His first one. 13 minutes and 29 seconds to play as Jim Ashmore goes to the Mississippi State free throw line for the first time. Bob Burrow is in the left-handed rebounding position now. Here's Ashmore's try. Short and no good. Grawemeyer slaps across the alley to Hatton, who rears back and goes into front court with it. Over to Calvert, just in front of Lemon, too. Didn't see it coming. Back to Hatton, down the right side to Grawemeyer. 20-foot jump shot, good. All 5 of the Wildcats have scored now as Kentucky goes on top 18-6. Their third 12-point advantage. Bailey in front court feeds a high pivot to Lemon. 20 feet away, he takes a jump shot that's no good. Calvert rebounds, the little guy. Comes off of there with it. Whips to Bird, breaking in front court down the left side. Pulls up with it. Can't shoot. Out to Burrow. Has it knocked down and taken away. And Burrow fouls, trying to get it back from Bailey. It's the first foul on Burrow. 12 minutes and 56 seconds in the first half here at the Coliseum. Well, next week is the big week. 1 week from tonight, it's Kentucky and Vanderbilt here at the Coliseum. Tickets going at a pretty good price right now. Here is Bailey shooting and hitting. He is the third Maroon to score, and he has a bonus shot coming. It's good. Mississippi State's hit 4 out of 5 free throws. Calvert moves in front court for the Wildcats with a 10-point lead. Over to Hatton, down the right to Grawemeyer, and back to Hatton. Calvert goes through, gets it, he's wide open. It's good. Calvert, Bird, Hatton, and Burrow each have 2 field goals to make it 20-8, and Kentucky's 4th 12-point advantage. They have been hung up on this 12-point mark. Here's a driving field goal good by Bailey, nullified by an early foul on Calvert, up on the 3-second line. Off the bench is Johnny Brewer to come into the Kentucky lineup. 20-year-old junior from Anchorage. He's a graduate of Eastern High School. Brewer stands 6'3", weighs 184. Calvert comes out. Brewer is averaging 2.7 a game, 43 points. His big night was in Baton Rouge with 13 points against Louisiana State. Bailey on the Mississippi State free throw line misses, and Burrow rebounds for Kentucky. 3 men on him. He fights and has it knocked away from him. Races to the baseline, gets it, and it's knocked away again and out of bounds. Knocking it away and out was Wayne Duncan. Now Kentucky has the ball back. Brewer is running at guard with Hatton, the first substitution in the Kentucky lineup. Hatton, high pass to Bird, who hooks it down, gives to Grawemeyer, out to Brewer. Brewer moves to the left. Hatton is back on the baseline waving for it. Brewer gives it to him as he comes up the left side. Hatton fakes, moves out to the free throw line, feeds to Burrow. Burrow spins into the 3-second zone, passes to Bird, a 15-footer's to the left. No good. Grawemeyer taps, no good. Burrow taps, no good. Bird comes out of there with it, and here's a whistle from the outside. A jump ball has been called at the Kentucky free throw line. Vernon Hatton at 6'3" against Billy Etheridge at 6'2". Tap goes to Brewer. It's taken away from him by Bailey, and he goes in for a dead trip shot. Bailey gets his first field goal. He's a reserve that's already picked up 4 points. It's 20-10. And for the 4th time, Kentucky has lost a 12-point advantage. Here's Brewer giving to Hatton, breaking through. Ashmore on him. It's good, and Ashmore fouled him. Foul on Ashmore is his first. The field goal by Hatton is good, and he'll take 1 free throw. 11 minutes, 38 seconds in the first half, as Kentucky, for the 5th time, has a 12-point lead. Nevermore, Hatton's free throw attempt is good, and Kentucky has its longest lead of the game, 23-10. They pull quickly to a 12-point advantage at 14-2, but the Maroons have matched basket for basket with them since, either free throw or field goal. Here's Ashmore down the right side, feeding Lemon, breaking by. Brewer hangs with him, passes over to Etheridge, who fires one into the pivot, and a hook shot. No good by Lemon, rebounded by Grawemeyer. Up the way to Bird, breaking in front court, down the left side, fades to Burrow at the baseline, can't shoot, has it knocked down, picked up by Bird in the left corner. A 1-bounce dribble, a high pass to Burrow with 2 on him. He spins and goes, hooks and misses, hits. Bob Burrow coming out with a hook, cutting in for a 25-10 lead. Ashmore back in front court for Mississippi State. Over to Bailey, angling left, pulling up as Hatton goes to him. Pass goes over to Duncan, who charges out of there, and Grawemeyer fouled him. 4 Wildcats have committed a personal now. Mississippi State shooter will be Wayne Duncan. 1 shot. He's a 6'2" forward. 10 minutes, 56 seconds in the first half here at the Coliseum as Duncan pushes her up and in. Now 4 Maroons have scored as Duncan goes up for the bonus shot. Brewer and Hatton wide of the alleys. Ashmore in safety. The bonus shot is good by Duncan. And Burrow kicks it into Brewer. Up the way to Bird, who drops the ball, and a collision. Bird is charging. His first foul of the game. 10 minutes, 52 seconds to play now. Bird juggled the ball on a high pass from Johnny Brewer out of backcourt and was unable to avoid a collision with Shelley Bailey. So Bailey is back at the free throw line. He's hit 2 out of 3. Bailey fires good. Bonus shot to Bailey now as Kentucky's 15-point lead has been trimmed back to 12. It's good. 25-14 the score as the Wildcats slow it down in backcourt again. Burrow strides past Hatton, moving up past the dividing line, goes to the pivot and gets a pass, fakes to Brewer and gives back out to Hatton. Here's a 30-foot one-hander that's good. Vernon Hatton pours one in from 30 feet out, the longest shot of the game, to make it 27-14 for the Wildcats against the Maroons. Pass goes to Wayne Lemon on the Mississippi State pivot. Bounce pass out to Ashmore, who had to go out to get it. Whips it back to Duncan in the right corner. Jump shot around the rim and no good. Tapped up, no good by Etheridge. Taken off by Bird. Fed to Brewer, who's 1-on-3. Pulls up, feeds to Gromeyer out on the top rim of the circle. Out to Brewer on the right to Bird. Burrow goes through. Bird feeds him. Burrow hooks, no good. Taking it off. Bailey has it knocked away and out of bounds by Gromeyer. Mississippi State keeps possession as Bailey feeds one into Ashmore. Walking up the backcourt now with 10 minutes in the first half. Off a balanced court. Ashmore whips to Lemon on the pivot, weaves and goes, gets by on Hatton, and Hatton catches up as he hooks. It is no good. Coming off with it, it's out of bounds. Came off the knee of Bob Burrow. Mississippi State will put it in play. Wayne Lemon out of bounds to the left of the basket, puts a bounce pass to Ashmore in the left corner. He breaks down the baseline, goes under, and gives to Lemon, who hooks no good. A whistle, though, under the basket, and a foul on Bob Burrow. Second foul on Burrow. Sends 6'5" Wayne Lemon to the Mississippi State free throw line. Foul in the act of hooking one up there. He'll take 2 of them with 9 minutes and 34 seconds in the first half. Here's Lemon's first try. Good. Mississippi State has only 3 field goals, but 15 points. Lemon sights and shoots. It's no good. Burrow taps behind him to Hatton. Watches the offense start on the fast break. Misses a dribble and picks it up on the top rim of the circle. Off the left of Brewer, who fakes by Ashmore, lays it in driving. It's good, and a foul has been called against Wayne Lemon of Mississippi State, his 3rd one. Johnny Brewer gets the field goal. He's the 6th Wildcat to score, and he has 1 free throw. Hit or miss, it's in play. 9 minutes, 24 seconds to go. Kentucky has a 14-point advantage. Here's Brewer's try. Good. Kentucky hasn't missed a free throw as they take a 30-15 advantage. Their second 15-point lead. Shelley Bailey back in front court for Mississippi State. Down the left side, dropped by Etheridge. He picked it up and takes a 15-foot shot. No good, short. Jerry Bird races for the rebound, hooks to Brewer at the dividing line, over to Hatton. Angling to the right side, gives to Brewer. Jump shot, no good. Short. Bird taps, no good. And it's taken off by Ashmore of Mississippi State. 9 minutes to go in the first half. Shelley Bailey moves back in front court for the Maroons. Bounce pass to Lemon on the pivot. Spins right and goes. Burrow blocks his shot from the rear, off his chest and out of bounds to Kentucky. Technical foul against Wayne Lemon of Mississippi State. Lemon, who had the shot blocked from the rear by Burrow, came off his chest and out of bounds to Kentucky. And Lemon, in just a little temper flaring up, slammed the ball on the floor and it bounded out of bounds. So Vernon Hatton will shoot the technical and Kentucky will have possession. Hatton sights with Lemon walking right in on the line toward him and lays it in good. It is 31-15, Kentucky's longest advantage. They have the ball at the dividing line. They run a play, but the Maroons do not defense it, and the Wildcats, of course, are unable to run it. Brewer gives to Hatton, and on the right side to Gromeyer. Back to Hatton. Brewer goes through, gets the pass, and has it knocked away and out of bounds. Kentucky has it over the baseline, just to the right of the backboard, where Vernon Hatton's out of bounds to put it in play. A bounce to Burrow, hooked out to Bird, who fakes and has it knocked down. Gromeyer picks it up, shoots no good. Taken off by Etheridge of Mississippi State. Fed over to Duncan, to Shelley Bailey. Still in backcourt with it now. Kentucky 31, Mississippi State 15. Up to Ashmore in front court, angling right out deep. Looks to Lemon, feeds him a 2-handed pass down on the right of the pivot. Over to Ashmore, jump shot, no good from 15 feet. Tapped up, no good by Etheridge. Taken off in the left corner by Duncan, who breaks down the baseline and shoots, no good. A foul has been called at the baseline, out of bounds has been called, and it's the Maroons' ball right in front of the Kentucky bench. Bounce pass to Ashmore under the basket, spins out, hooks it up and in. Ashmore makes it 31-17. Kentucky's lead now, 14 points. Brewer talking it over with Hatton, coming in front court. A pass to Gromeyer on the right side, back to Hatton. Here goes a 20-foot jump shot. It's good. Vernon Hatton leads the Wildcats into an advantage of 33-17. Here's Bailey moving up as Vernon Hatton has hit 5 for 5 in field goals and 4 for 4 in free throws. He hadn't missed a shot, free throw, or field goal. Here's Ashmore breaking for the basket, and a foul has been called against Vernon Hatton of Kentucky, blocking. 7.5 minutes to go. Jim Ashmore on the Mississippi State free throw line for 1 shot. Ashmore puts the right foot on the line, the left foot in close and very slightly back. Right-hander shoves it back, and the jump shot's good. Ashmore, 6-foot guard, will take a bonus shot now. He actually has a little skip. as he draws his left foot slowly back, keeping the toe of the shoe right on the floor, and then takes a little leap as he shoots short this trip. Tapped up no good by Lemon from the right side, and a foul has been called against Mississippi State on the rebound attempt. It is against Wayne Lemon. Lemon has 2 personals and a technical against him now. So far this season, Lemon has committed 68 personal fouls. This makes 70 for him, as Grawemeyer makes his first appearance in the Kentucky free throw line. 7 minutes, 28 seconds remain in the first half. Brewer and Hatton back in safety, as Grawemeyer whips a two-hander up and in. We just had a note from Grawemeyer's mother that Ernie, Cookie's father, is in Nashville tonight and unable to be here to see the game. Here's Grawemeyer's bonus shot. No good. First free throw Kentucky's missed tonight. Burrow taps, Grawemeyer taps, Bird taps, Bird taps, Bird taps, out of bounds. Goes to Mississippi State. Kentucky 34, Mississippi State 18. Shelley Bailey feeds into Ashmore, and Hatton was right in behind Ashmore, but didn't get the opportunity to cut through. Here is Bailey in front court, feeding down in the right corner to Lemon. A one-hander, short, into the boards, no good. Grawemeyer gets the rebound, juggles it, taps it over to Burrow, up in front court to Brewer, and walking against Bob Burrow. Out of bounds to Mississippi State off the side of the backcourt as Dudley Nash waits to get in for the Maroons. He was a big gun last year, but has not made the starting 5 this year. Here's Bailey handing off to Etheridge, who has hardly handled the ball any in this game. Here's Lemon to the right side. A bounce pass to Ashmore, goes under the basket, falls away for a shot that's no good. Tapped up, no good by Lemon. Rebounds, and Bob Burrow falls across his back. That's the 3rd foul on Burrow. 6 minutes and 39 seconds to play. Wayne Lemon is on the line where he's hit 3 out of 4, shooting 1. Ed Beck comes off the Kentucky bench as Lemon shoots and hits. Ed Beck, 19-year-old sophomore from Fort Valley, Georgia, replacing Bob Burrow. Beck is 6'7", weighs 190, averaging 1.2 a game with 20 points. Had his big night against Tulane with 4 points. Lemon misses the second shot. Grawemeyer taps to Hatton, up to Brewer. 2-on-1. Hatton gets it, lays it in. Vernon Hatton lays in his 6th field goal, driving on the fast break with Johnny Brewer to make it 36-19 Kentucky. Shelley Bailey in front court for the Maroons now. Feeds Lemon on the free throw line high pivot. Spins on Beck and shoots. No good. Fine. Rebound by Bird. Hooks it out beautifully to Hatton on a 3-1 break. Behind his back to Grawemeyer, who lays it in. A behind-the-back pass by Vernon Hatton, which cut out the defensive man. And it's 38-19 as the Wildcats push in front by 19 points. Shelley Bailey up front for Mississippi State. Down the right side, here's a break by Duncan, and the hook shot no good. Tapped up by Lemon, no good. Wide open, he lays it in. Lemon gets his first field goal of the game. Both Hatton and Beck were on the floor under the basket after knocking down the first shot by Lemon. Here's Brewer to Bird on the left side. Fakes a 10-foot jump shot in and out. Grawemeyer taps, no good, and it's out of bounds to Kentucky. To Mississippi State, correction. 38-21 the score. Shelley Bailey back in front court for Mississippi State. Crisscrosses and keeps. Down the left side to Etheridge, who moves out toward the right. Etheridge has had the ball only about 3 times in this first half. Here's Lemon feeding the left side to Duncan. Grawemeyer slaps it down. Duncan picks it up and shoots over the rim, where Bird rebounds for Kentucky. Comes rolling out on the fast break again. Down the left side, pulls up. Feeds it out to Johnny Brewer as Kentucky sets it up now. Beck goes to a single pivots. The pass to left to Bird. A set shot, no good. Grawemeyer rebounds, no good. Beck slaps it out to Brewer, who can't get in there. It's clogged. Over to Bird. A 15-foot jump shot's no good. Tap up there, good. Beauty by Ed Beck. Beck becomes the 7th Wildcat to score to make it 40-21. Kentucky's second 19-point lead as Phil Johnson comes off the Kentucky bench. Jerry Bird has been off in his shooting tonight. Here's a bad pass in the pivot to Lemon, picked up by Grawemeyer behind him. Over to Hatton, moving in front court, flips off on the left side. The ball knocked down and picked up by Etheridge of Mississippi State. 6'2" forward. Hatton and Duncan just now getting up off the floor as Ashmore breaks for the basket, goes under, and walks with it. Out of bounds to Mississippi State. Kentucky is calling timeout. Its first timeout of the ball game with 4 minutes and 24 seconds to play. Phil Johnson checks in for the Wildcats as the 3rd substitute. He's a 19-year-old sophomore from Lexington, graduate of the University of Kentucky Training School. Johnson is 6'6", weighs 210. He has an average of 2.4 a game, 24 points. This season, his big night was in Atlanta against Georgia Tech when he scored 6 points. Also into the Kentucky lineup strides Bill Cassidy, 20-year-old sophomore from Inez. Hoppy, as he's called by his teammates, stands 6'3", weighs 190. 44 points this season for an average of 2.9 a game. His big night was here in the Coliseum against Georgia Tech when he scored 10 points. So Kentucky right now will have Cassidy at a guard with Johnny Brewer, Ed Beck in the pivot, Jerry Bird playing a forward along with Phil Johnson. Vernon Hatton, the leading scorer, and the other guard, Jerry Calvert, are both out of there, along with center Bob Burrow and forward Phil Grawemeyer. The only starter in is Jerry Bird. This has not been one of Bird's better shooting nights. He's been unable to hit so far. He's got 2 field goals. Kentucky 40, Mississippi State 21. Johnny Brewer feeds on a close bounce pass, just almost dropped it to Cassidy as they talk it over coming up the backcourt. Cassidy is a left-hander. Brewer crisscrosses, a bounce pass down the right side to Beck. Outside to Bird, top rim of the circle, 15-foot jump shot as he drives in is good. It's 42-21 as Kentucky takes its longest lead of the game now. Shelley Bailey back in front court for Mississippi State. Over to Ashmore, out deep with Cassidy on him, feeds out to Etheridge, who breaks down the middle, lays it up short. Beck rebounds. Fine play. Up to Bird as Cats still break with it. Down the left side, Bird pulls up. Looks for Johnson in on the pivot. Can't get it to him, out to Cassidy. Into Johnson. Cassidy goes by. Out to Bird. Here's a 20-foot set shot. It's no good. Bird moves in for the rebound. Lays it up and in, but they call him for walking, nullifying the basket. Bird caught it in behind the backboard, and they rule he took an extra step in getting out to shoot. Of course, the baseline is 4 feet behind the basket, which means you can easily get under that board without being able to shoot. Here's a pushing foul on Phil Johnson as he tried to cut off a pass down the right side intended for Mississippi State's co-captain Wayne Duncan. First foul on Johnson. Into the Mississippi State lineup for the first time is John Hayden, Heiden, replacing Billy Etheridge. Hayden is a 19-year-old sophomore from Jackson, Mississippi. Stands 6'3", weighs 195, averaging 3.4 a game, scored 51 points this season. Here's Duncan shooting and hitting at the free throw line and drawing a bonus shot. 3 minutes and 25 seconds in the first half. Bonus shot good by Wayne Duncan. 42-23. Cassidy to Bird in front court on the left side. Out to Johnny Brewer. In the pivot to Phil Johnson. Spins right on a one-bounce dribble. Whips another pass out to Brewer. Off the left side to Bird, who fakes. Goes back to Johnson. A 10-footer, no good. And a foul on Ed Beck, who slapped for the ball and got Duncan. First foul on Beck. And as we march the length of the court for the free throw, let's take 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Standard Oil Sports Network.
WVLK, Lexington, Kentucky. The time is 8:30.
Wayne Duncan back at the Mississippi State free throw line, shoots and hits. Draws the bonus shot. Kentucky 42, Mississippi State 24. The Maroons have only 5 field goals. Bonus shot good. 42-25 as Cassidy rips back in front court to the free throw line. Gives to Bird, back to Cassidy, back to Bird, back to Cassidy, who moves to the left side this time. Out to Beck, a 15-foot jump shot, no good. Taking it off is Mississippi State's Dudley Nash. Nash is the oldest of the Maroons at 23. He's a senior from Amory, Mississippi. Stands 6'3", weighs 180. Here's Beck cutting one off in the pivot, handing over to Cassidy. Nash has 36 points this season, an average of 2.3. Brewer, 20-footer, no good. Beautiful tap of Bird, rolls off the rim and under the basket. Taken off by Nash. Kentucky 42, Mississippi State 25. Back up in front court is Ashmore. Over to Bailey. High pass goes into the pivot. Taken and a jump shot by Nash. Good. Dudley Nash gets his first field goal of the night. 42-27. Cassidy slows it down, moving up the back court with it. Bird, the only regular still in the Kentucky lineup. Bounce pass goes on the right side of the pivot to Johnson. Brewer goes through, pass to Bird. Bird spins, goes to the right, down the middle, and he is fouled as he breaks for the basket by Shelley Bailey. That is only the 5th personal foul against Mississippi State. Jerry Bird makes his first appearance at the free throw line. 2 shots to Bird with 2 minutes and 6 seconds to play. Here's Bird sighting for the first one. No good. Jerry Bird at the free throw line was batting .700. So he's dropped below the 70% mark. Second shot. Tapped by Ed Beck, and they give him a field goal. His second field goal of the game to make it 44-27. Up in front court with it is Bailey. Breaks to the left with Brewer on him, and a foul. Blocking by Johnny Brewer is his first personal. That's 8 Wildcats that have committed personals. Shelley Bailey goes to the Mississippi State free throw line, trying 2 of them. Here's Bailey's first one, good. Here's Jerry Calvert replacing Johnny Brewer at a guard now. So we have Calvert back in with Bird as the 2 starters in the Kentucky lineup. Second shot, no good. Tapped up by Nash and taken off by Cassidy. Comes in front court for Kentucky to the top rim of the circle, gives to Beck. Hands to Calvert as Kentucky sets it up now. Beck and Johnson playing a double pivot. Johnson on the weak side to the right. Calvert works the strong side forward. Bird gets it back, gives to Johnson. A 20-foot jump shot, no good. Beck rebounds, holds on. Bounce pass out to Calvert, down the right to Cassidy. The left-hander moves in and pulls up for a quick jump shot. It's short. Tapped by Johnson, no good. Taken off by Mississippi State's John Hayden. Fed over to Shelley Bailey. Kentucky has a 48-28 lead. Bailey in front court gives to Ashmore. High pass goes to Duncan in the right corner, and a one-handed shot is short. Taken off nicely by Nash, who fakes and comes out with a hook that's good. Dudley Nash with his second field goal makes it 44-30. And the Wildcats reserves have lost some ground here to the Maroons. Cassidy down the left side to Bird, who moves out and gives to Calvert. The 30-foot set, no good. Knocked down, the ball is out of bounds. Awarded to Kentucky. 51 seconds to play. Calvert is out of bounds. Gets the ball. A bounce pass to Bird in the left corner. Breaking out is Johnson to get it at the free throw line. A right-handed hook. It's to the right. Tapped up beautifully by Ed Beck. He caught that ball below the rim of the basket and tapped it in. This is the most points Ed Beck has scored in a ball game as a college man, breaking his record of 4 set against Tulane. Here's a hook shot by Nash, short. Bird knocks it down. Beck picks it up with a 16-point Kentucky lead. Bounce pass over to Calvert. 20 seconds in the first half. Calvert walking now, 15 seconds to go as he crosses into front court. Kentucky apparently will take 1 shot. Passes over to Cassidy, 10 seconds to go. To Bird, to Cassidy. Calvert goes through. Cassidy gives to Beck, who takes a 15-footer, no good. Mississippi State gets the rebound. It's knocked down, picked up by Beck, who shoots. It is no good. Went in, came out, rolled around, and dropped off as the first half ends. Kentucky 46, Mississippi State 30. That's the halftime picture. We'll have individual scoring in just a moment. Say if economy appeals to you in driving your car, just remember you can't beat Crown gasoline for low-cost transportation. This popular regular grade gasoline is higher in octane than ever, higher in performance, higher in mileage, yet sells at the low price of regular grade gasoline. Crown gasoline is refined in the South for Southern motorists from superior base stocks. It is seasonally graded to assure you top performance in the season of the year in which it is used. Year after year, Crown is the largest selling regular grade gasoline in Kentucky and throughout the area served by Standard Oil dealers. Try a tank full of Crown gasoline. You'll find that all except the very high compression cars, it's the best investment you can make in low-cost transportation. Well, here is your individual scoring in the first half. Vernon Hatton has led the way for the Wildcats tonight with a total of 16 points. He has 6 field goals and 4 free throws. We do not believe Hatton has missed a shot, either from the outside or from the free throw line. 16 points. The other Kentucky scoring has been pretty even. Jerry Bird has 6 points on 3 field goals. He's missed a pair of free throws. Bob Burrow has 6 points on 3 field goals. Ed Beck has 6 points on 3 field goals. 4 points for Jerry Calvert on 2 field goals. 5 points for Phil Grawemeyer, 2 field goals, 1 out of 2 at the free throw line. 3 points for Johnny Brewer on a field goal and a free throw. Bill Cassidy, who's been in the game, did not score. Personal fouls, 3 against Bob Burrow, 2 against Vernon Hatton, 2 against Jerry Calvert. 1 each on Brewer, Grawemeyer, Johnson, Beck, and Bird. For Mississippi State, their leading scorer for the season, Jim Ashmore, has been held to 7 points, 3 field goals, and 1 out of 3 at the free throw line. A reserve guard, Shelley Bailey, has come up with 7 points also, 5 out of 7 free throws, and a field goal. 6 points have been picked up by Wayne Duncan, all at the free throw line, as he's hit 6 for 6. Wayne Lemon tonight has picked up 6 points, a field goal, and 4 out of 6 free throws. 4 points for Dudley Nash on 2 field goals. Jerry Ritchie has been in the game along with John Hayden, but neither has scored. Billy Etheridge started at the forward, and he's been held scoreless. Halftime, Kentucky 46, Mississippi State 30. Well, right now, sitting beside us, we have Dr. Lyman B. Ginger from the College of Adult and Extension Education. And that seems to be a new one around the campus. So, Dr. Ginger, just exactly what does it mean? When was the college founded?
Claude, the College of Adult and Extension Education was founded by the Board of Trustees of the university and started officially July the 1st of 1954. Now, the college itself, as outlined by the Board of Trustees, combined the activities of the then existent Extension Department and added many other duties and responsibilities. A number of other colleges across the country do have such a corresponding college.
Well, now, what are some of the activities that are included in the College of Adult and Extension Education? Would you discuss some of these activities and tell us something about the number of people with whom you come in contact in the program?
Yes, Claude, I'll be glad to do that. I shall, I think, simply take them one at a time and tell you a little bit about each. The Correspondence Department has about 2,000 students from approximately 15 different states. These people do home study work and complete their assignments by correspondence. We have about 150 different courses in the correspondence divisions. This includes work both for high school and for college correspondence work. The second large division is the Extension Department itself. Now, by extension, we mean classes that are taught away from the campus. Last year, we had about 50 classes in 40 different towns and communities. Most of these classes were for credit, with only a few non-credit. We had courses in English, anthropology, geography, sociology, and education courses for teachers. You know, the possibility for extension classes really is unlimited, Claude. The only handicap so far has been that we've not been able to secure enough teachers to conduct all the classes that had been requested. Now, the third large division, which has been revived and has been in operation now for the last 2 years, is the night program on the university campus. For this semester, we have 50 courses from the Colleges of Arts and Science, Engineering, Education, Commerce, and General Community Problems. From this listing, about 2/3 of the courses are non-credit. Now, the citizens of Central Kentucky have shown a great deal of interest in this night program, and our enrollment for last semester was about 600 students in the night program. Last year, we had about 900 students during the 2 semesters, and this year we will probably approach the 1,200 mark. Now, the fourth division in the college is the Northern Center of the University of Kentucky. This is a 2-year college program, and it's housed in the Covington Elementary School building. It's one that has been proved to be extremely successful and popular in that region. 3 years ago, we had 350 students. This year, the first semester, we had 950 students in the Covington Center. Of this number, 750 took courses for credit and 200 for non-credit. As a regular 2-year college, this center is growing rapidly, and we do not know what the final enrollment may be. It could go beyond 1,500 students. Now, within the next 2 years, we hope to have a building for the Northern Center. Now, the next and the fifth division is the Lending Library and the Department of Community Services. This department has 2 full-time workers to collect and assemble material for lending libraries and to assist with the preparation of programs and materials for state groups in different communities. Miss Chloe Gifford is nationally known in the field of women's club work, and she devotes most of her time to working with women's clubs in Kentucky. The 6th large service area is the Speech and Music Festival for high school boys and girls. There are 8 regional music festivals and 2 state music festivals, several regional speech festivals, and 1 state speech festival. Last year, we had more than 15,000 Kentucky boys and girls who participated in the music festivals and 2,500 in the speech festivals. Now, the last division is the Department of Audiovisual Services. This department serves the university campus and more than 125 different school systems in Kentucky. We have audiovisual aids equipment as well as films, records, slide films for educational use. Our visual aids department is one of the better departments in the South, and it's one that has given outstanding service to the schools of Kentucky. On the on-campus services of this department, it has proved to be extremely popular in summer cinema, campus cinema, and that type of program.
Dr. Ginger, that's really an extensive program for the new College of Adult and Extension Education. Do you consider that the program for the college has so far been a successful one?
Yes, Claude, we think it has been extremely successful, and the big difficulty so far has been in finding enough people who can and will teach and work from the various departments out in the state and with the services we have to render.
Well, now, when you fully cope with those problems, what's the ultimate objective for that college?
Well, Claude, I think if we could daydream just a bit, we would imagine that very soon we'd have a large central building on the campus. We do not have a building now. We are housed in two different places. Now, this building, this new building, would house all of the departments and would have adequate conference rooms and housing facilities for people who would come to the campus for conferences, for workshops, short-term courses, seminars, and similar adult activities. Several other state universities have facilities of this type, the type that I've just described, and they have found that the building is always filled with different groups from out in the state who are working on common problems. I would also imagine that along with the building on campus, they would have an expanded program to enable an expanded staff to enable the college to serve the people of Kentucky out in the state as well as on campus.
Well, Dr. Ginger, we sure thank you for stopping by and enlightening us on this new college and the very extensive plans you have for it. We'd like to wish you success. We know that will come to you, and something we wonder, do you enjoy talking as much about education as you used to basketball?
Well, Claude, I do. I'm getting a big kick out of working in this adult program. I've always been sold on the advantages in Kentucky and the opportunities in Kentucky in education. And one of the things that we're doing at the university this year that I'd like to mention rather hurriedly is the Founders Day program that will be on the university campus February 22nd. Now, at that time, we're going to honor all educators in Kentucky who have been teaching for 45 years or longer. We will also honor two outstanding Kentuckians who have achieved great success in the field of education out in other states. And this is Mr. James W. Carnahan of Chicago, a textbook publisher, and Nancy Duke Lewis of Providence, Rhode Island, the Dean of Pembroke College. Now, this program, we think, should be of tremendous interest to the friends of the university.
Well, Dr. Ginger, thank you very, very much, and we'll be looking forward to that, too.
Well, thanks a lot, Claude. It's been a real honor and a privilege, and thank you for letting me tell you something about the work of the university.
Thank you, Dr. Ginger. It's been a real privilege having you here to explain the work of this new college, which so many people have been interested in since it has just come to the university. Well, we've just been informed on a score from Knoxville. That is, Tennessee tonight has defeated Ole Miss by 2 points. Tennessee 65, Ole Miss 63.